In the 1st century AD, Emperor Trajan wants to build the new port of Rome. The architect, Apollodorus of Damascus, designs a high model of engineering. Civitavecchia, the port of Rome, was born. The first stop of my journey through the places and the history of Civitavecchia has its roots in the distant past. The quality of the thermal springs have been known since prehistoric times. Subsequently, the healing benefits were enhanced in Etruscan age, but only in Roman times spa facilities exploit properly the use of the waters. The baths of Trajan are also known as taurine. The legend tells of a bull which simulates the charge before the fight, scratches the ground with its paw, and discovers a miraculous spring of hot sulphurous water. The spa is very popular mainly during the imperial age. After the fall of the empire, users decrease, and the activity finally ends during the war between the Goths and the Byzantines. The large spa complex is structured in different spaces. The most important is the tank of the steam bath, the Calidarium tank. A space dedicated to the warm bath, divided into 3 naves by 2 rows of columns topped by a majestic vault. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the port of Civitavecchia and the urban settlement of Centumcellae are sought after by the papacy and the various local powers. Sieges, invasions, and raids follow one another. In the 15th century, the city finally falls under papal control, and the port of Civitavecchia gains new strength. In this period, the Rocca was built, a fortress that protected the port of call, a strategic point, the nerve center of alliances and conflicts. The Rocca of Civitavecchia becomes a crossroads of cultures and ships, a stop for influential people. In 1615, the ambassador Hasekura Tsunenaga, a Japanese samurai at the service of Date Masamune, the daimyo Sendai, makes the historical landfall. The Japanese diplomat is received by Pope Paul V in Rome. Hasekura delivers a precious letter decorated with gold to the Pope. The document contains a formal proposal for a commercial treaty between Japan and Mexico and the request to send Christian missionaries in Japan. The Pope accepts straight away and orders the immediate dispatch of missionaries. Subsequently, the Supreme Pontiff writes a letter to Date Masamune, of which there is still a copy in the Vatican. The Senate of Rome gives Hasekura the honorary title of Roman citizen. A few kilometers from the coast, the Rock of Tulfa protects an area rich in mineral deposits. Built at the behest of the Frangipani around the mid-400s, the Rocca overlooks the borough and its crenellated walls. The stone cylinder of the lookout tower stands out against the horizon. Inside, the system of rooms spreads over 3 levels. At the bottom level, you can still access the basement through loopholes. It defends the territory and the extraction activity. This land bases its story on alum, iron, cinnabar, lead, and copper. Such mineral wealth attracts pirates and predators who threaten the coasts of Civitavecchia. The Michelangelo fort was built in order to protect the port and the city. The fort has a quadrilateral shape with 4 towers at the top and the octagonal-shaped lookout tower. The walls are covered with travertine marble and surrounded by a moat, now disappeared. In 1508, Pope Julius II hands the direction of the works to Bramante. Subsequently, Michelangelo will complete it. The Michelangelo fort is one of the largest forts built at that time. It stands as a careful guardian of the port and the town of Civitavecchia. In the mid-1400s, Mohammed II, Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, conquers Asia Minor and interrupts the flow of alum to Europe. Giovanni da Castro recognizes in the mountains of Tolfa the same vegetation as in the alum mines in Asia Minor. Pope Pius II realizes the importance of the discovery of the mineral deposits and gives Castro the monopoly of production and trade, retaining a tax. Alum is a precious mineral, essential to fix colors on fabrics. Its export determines the rebirth of the port of Civitavecchia. Paul II, in April 1465, imposes on Christians from all over Europe, on pain of excommunication, to use only the papal alum, so that the proceeds could be used to finance a great crusade against the Turks. To the south of the whole port structure lies the historical harbour of Civitavecchia. The Roman dock is the oldest port's catchment area, and inside numerous archaeological finds were discovered. This area has always been home to fishing boats and commercial activities related to fishery. The original structure of the Roman port included 2 piers and 2 towers. Today we can still see the Tower of Lazzaretto, which was rebuilt in the Renaissance by Antonio da San Gallo the Young, an architect pupil of Bramante. In 1630, the franchise is restored, and it becomes necessary to separate the port from the city. Urban VIII builds a defensive wall. Then in 1740, Pope Benedict XIV commissioned to Luigi Vanvitelli a decorative element for the crenellated wall. The Neapolitan architect builds a fountain in travertine with a complex curvilinear staircase. A small door on the right of the fountain leads to the Church of the Port, named after St. Mary, Queen of Angels and Martyrs. At the entrance, there is the ossuary of the Dominican Fathers, which introduces us to the arch. The classic opus reticulatum, diagonal grid, that characterizes the whole building makes the Roman walls stand out. During the bombings of World War II, the church was abandoned. From the post-war to the 90s, it was used as a fish market until the area finally regained its historical and artistic dignity. At the bottom there is a Roman cistern with fresh spring water, probably used as an ancient baptismal font. Since Christmas 2009, the little church has been fully functioning again. Porta Livorno was created within the city walls by Pope Clement XIII. Recently restored, the work returns to its former glory after the damage sustained during World War II. The Gold Medal of Civil Merit attests the value of Civitavecchia during the conflict. The city of strategic importance due to its port on the Mediterranean during the Second World War was subjected to continuous and extremely violent bombings that caused the death of many citizens and the almost total destruction of the built-up area and the port structure. The population, forced to take refuge in neighboring areas with heroic determination, constituted a partisan unit, contributing generously to the cause of the resistance, and at the end of the hostilities proudly faced the difficult task of rebuilding. Dedicated to St. Francis of Assisi, the Civitavecchia Cathedral was built on the remains of a small Franciscan church. The front consists of a high Baroque facade with a double Ionic order, a single central door, and a wide staircase. Amongst works of inestimable value and urbanized suburbs, the graffiti of the Waves project are inserted. Conceived in 2011, Waves' purpose is to involve and make the citizen an active part of the improvement of the space in which they live. The project pursues its object through urban renewal, development of creative talents, and education to legality. Aritstem and Agostino Iacurci are the internationally renowned artists who will, with their murals, launch Civitavecchia towards a new modernity. Unconditional Surrender is the monumental representation of the historical photo taken by Alfred Eisenstadt in Times Square in 1945. The artwork, symbol of the end of World War II, welcomes locals and tourists who flock to the waterfront. But it is during the Jubilee of 2000 that Civitavecchia becomes a crucial junction to facilitate touristic access to Rome. On this occasion, the railway that ran along the harbour is dismantled and the waterfront is built. A wide pedestrian area with a bicycle path on the side becomes the privileged meeting point for the citizenship. In this space between the sea and the city, at every sunset, thoughts, words, silences gather and intersect. The sea, a tool of wealth and knowledge, unites and separates, combines generations, history and culture. It shapes new forms. Civitavecchia fuses past and present in a port city, a crossroads of different cultures, witness of exchange, a melting pot of a fruitful future.